Hello students, myself Amrita Dhar, Assistant Professor of Electrical Engineering Department of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management JIS Group. Now I will teach you switchgear and protection. Today we will discuss about use of current limiting reactors and their arrangements. This is my third lecture on the subject switchgear and protection. Let's start. A current limiting reactors is a coil of number of turns designed to have a large inductance as compared to its ohmic resistance. So what is the definition of current limiting reactor? The current limiting reactor is an inductive coil having a large inductive reactance in comparison with the resistance, and is used for limiting the short circuit current during fault condition. The forces on the turns of this reactor under short circuit condition are considerable, and therefore the windings must be solidly braced. It may added that due to very small resistance of reactor, there is a very little change in the efficiency of the system. So what is the purpose of current limiting reactors? Already I have told that current limiting reactors, as the name suggests, current limiting reactors used for limit the fault current and restrict the fault level of power station auxiliary systems. Now next one, how it is worked. Now, a current limiting reactor is used when the prospective short circuit current in a distribution or transmission system is calculated to exceed the interrupting rating of the associated switchgear. That means circuit breaker, relay. The inductive reactance is chosen to be low enough for an acceptable voltage drop during normal operation, obviously, but high enough to restrict a short circuit to the rating of the switchgear. The amount of protection that a current limiting reactor offers depend upon the percentage increases in impedance that it provides for the system. So what is the main motive of using current limiting reactors? The main motive of the current limiting reactors is to reduce short circuit current so that circuit breaker with lower short circuit breaking capacity can be used. They can also be used to protect other system components from high current level and to limit the inrush current when starting a large motor. Okay. So in normal operating condition, the voltage drop should be low as much as possible. This is the first concern to design a current limiting reactor, and also a current limiting reactor offer depends upon the percentage increase in impedance that it provides for the system. So next one is the construction of current limiting reactors. Now it is desirable that reactor does not go into magnetic saturation with a during a short circuit. So generally an iron core coil is used. At low and medium voltage, air insulated coils are practical. And for high transmission voltage, the coil may be immersed in transformer oil. Insulation of air core coils requires consideration of the magnetic field produced by the coil, which may induce current in large nearby metal objects. This may result in objectionable temperature rise and waste of the energy. So, We can conclude that at low and medium voltage, air insulated coils are practical, and for high transmission voltage, the coils may be immersed in the transformer oil. So these are the four basic types of current limiting reactors as per construction: cast in concrete air core, oil immersed gapped iron core, oil immersed magnetically shielded coreless, oil immersed electromagnetically shielded coreless. Okay. So you have an idea about what are the functions of current limiting reactors. Current limiting reactor reduce the flow of short circuit current, reduce the magnitude of the voltage disturbances caused by short circuits, limit the current that flows into fault from other healthy feeders or parts of the system, and it also reduces the duty imposed on the switching equipment during the short circuit to be within economical rating. Next one, classification of the reactors. Now we classify the reactors according to their location of connection. Now it may be connected in series with generator, it may be connected with bus bar, or it may be connected in series with the feeder. Each installation has its own particular demands, which must be carefully considered before a choice of reactor location can be made. Now the first one is the generator reactor. When the reactors are connected in series with each generator, they are known as generator reactor. In this figure you can see that with each generator a reactor is connected in series. This is the bus bar, these are the feeders, and these are the generators, and reactors are connected in series with each generators. In this case, the reactor may be considered as a part of leakage reactance of the generator. Hence, its effect is to protect the generator in case any short circuit beyond the reactors. But it suffers from some disadvantages. Now, in the event of fault occurring on a feeder, the voltage at the remaining healthy feeder also may lose synchronism, requiring resynchronization later. So, if a bus bar or feeder fault occurs close to the bus bar, the voltage at the bus bar will reduce to a low value, thereby causing the generator to fall out of state. And last one, there is a constant voltage drop and power loss in the reactor even during the normal operation. So first one is if a fault occurs on any feeder, the continuity of supply to other is likely to be affected. And in normal operating condition, there is a high value of the voltage drop which we do not require. Next one is the feeder reactor. When the reactors are connected in series with each feeder, they are known as feeder reactors. Since most of the short circuit occur on the feeder, a large number of reactors are used for such circuits. So in this figure, now the reactors are connected with each feeder. Two principal advantages are claimed for the feeder reactor. First, if a fault occurs on any feeder, the voltage drop in its reactor will not affect the busbar voltage, so that there is a little tendency for the generator to lose synchronism. And the second one is the fault on a feeder will not affect other feeder, and consequently the effect of the fault are localized. But it also has some disadvantages. Voltage drop and power loss still occurs in reactor for a feeder fault at normal operating condition. Feeder reactor do not offer any protection for busbar fault. If a short circuit, suppose if a short circuit occurs at the bus bar, no protection is provided to the generator. However, this is of little importance because such faults are rare and modern generators have considerable leakage reactance to enable them to withstand the short circuit across their terminals. And there is another disadvantage. If the number of generators is increased, the size of feeder reactor will have to be increased to keep the short circuit current within the ratings of the feeder circuit breaker. So, the two methods, that means generator reactor and feeder reactors, have some disadvantages. Suffer from some disadvantages, that there is considerable voltage drop and power loss in the reactor even during the normal operating condition. Now these disadvantages can be overcome by locating the reactors in bus bar. Now there are two ways of doing this. First one is the ring system. In this system, bus bar is divided into section. Bus bar is divided into, this is the first section, this is the second section, this is the third section. Okay. These sections are connected through reactors. That means reactors is connected between two sections. Generally, one feeder is fed from one generator only. Under normal operating condition, each generator will supply its own section of load and very little power will be fed to other generator. This results in low power loss and voltage drop in the reactors. And there is another advantage of this system, that is, if a fault occurs on any feeder, only one generator mainly feeds the fault current while the current fed from other generator is small due to presence of the reactors. Therefore, only that section of the bus bar is affected to which feeder is connected and the other section being able to continuity in normal operation. If a fault occurs in this figure, this generator suffers, but there is no effect on these generators. Okay. Now, next one is tie bar system. Comparing the ring main system with tie bar system, it is clear that in the tie bar system there are effectively two reactors in series between sections, so that the reactors must have approximately half the reactance of those used in compared to the ring main system. Okay. There is another advantage. Additional generation may be connected to the system without requiring changes in the existing reactors. The only disadvantage is that there is another require the additional bus bar. So these are the bus bar, and here we use another bus bar. This bus bar is known as tie bus bar. Okay, or tie bar. So this is the advantage, that it requires additional bus bar, that is tie bar. This is the tie bar and these are the bus bar. Now what are the advantages of current limiting reactor? First, reduction of electromechanical loading and thermal stress of transformer and switch gears. Second, it improves stability of the system. Third one is the reduction of the line to line current to levels below those of line to ground faults or vice versa. Protection of distribution transformer and downstream power equipment and devices from the propagation of initial first front voltage transient due to fault and circuit breaker operations. And the last one, it increases the system stability. So these are the advantages if we use current limiting reactor with our existing switch gear. That's all from today's class. If you have any problem, please contact with me. My contact details is given on the first slide. Thank you.